Hello everybody, I hope you're all very well. Bamboo Betty here with my Charles Begonia coconut. I am a vintage hunter, treasure, no, lover, no, cat mother, no, hang on. I'm a treasure hunter, vintage lover, cat mother. I thought last weekend was the coronation of the new monarch. Shows what I know. Nout. Obviously it's this weekend, so you all know I'm not a monarchist, but the Queen Begonia Coconut has put in a small request for a slightly royal themed, a regal-esque vlog this weekend. So today is a Feelgood Friday vlog with a slight regal theme, i.e. it's a homage to Princess Diana. Anyway, I had planned to do a sort of garden party in the garden for me and Begonia, and I was going to use some of the throws and the shawls that I bought in the flea market last week to make a sort of beautiful, colourful garden party style den in in amongst the plant. I don't know how she's sitting on that because it's just jewellery underneath there. However, it's absolutely Baltic outside. The wind is howling like a storm. It's freezing cold. It's overcast, and I might pop out later just to show you an update of what I've done, but I'm not staying out there. So the shawl now is being used to cover up all of last week's debris. And to make a nest for Begonia Coconut. Do you know what? You look absolutely fabulous sat there like that. That hat was made for you. Begonia Coconut, are you going on your holidays? Right then, so now I know that this weekend is the coronation of Queen Charles. I have made a small concession to my heritage. I'm not going to say too much how I really feel because unfortunately I am English and the current government would probably have me exiled for what I would say if I let loose. However, I'm just going to say one word about how I feel about the royal family. Andrew. Don't need to say anything else. That's enough. That no more needs to be spoken of. However, very much team Meghan here in this house. So I thought what I would do is a little show of some of the things I bought this week in the charity shop, and also some Princess Diana inspired fashion and jewellery from my collection. So, you know, early 90s and lots of 80s styles. But first of all, I'll show you what snack I got. I've never had coronation chicken before because I'm vegetarian all my life. So I was in the supermarket this week and I saw coronation coleslaw. Don't need to tell you that it's actually quite nice because I was going to save it for the video, but I've eaten it. Let me open it. Hang on. What do we have here? We have coronation coleslaw, and that is ordinary coleslaw with some very mild chili powder mixed in and a few sultanas chucked in the mix at the end. Tastes like very young child's school curry, like the 70s. It's actually really nice. I live on curry. I just curry everything. I'm not a mega hot vindaloo type a curry eater. I like hot curry, I like hot chilies, I like all sorts of hot food. This has no heat whatsoever, but it's got a very 70s school dinner classic curry flavour. If you showed this and gave this to an Asian person, I don't think they'd recognise it as food. Anyway, very good. It's obviously nice. I've eaten it all, and I only saved that bit because I was making the video, so I'm going to eat it now. Going through my drawers looking for some royal memorabilia, and I've got my... Oh no, hang on, sorry, wrong double act. got my cup of tea ready. All Queenie and Philip. This is to commemorate the Silver Jubilee of Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This is from 1977, and that Silver Jubilee was epic in the country, and I myself won a prize. And not only did the Queen win a prize that year for being Queen, I won a prize for being bigger than the Queen, for being a Britannia, no less. Everybody in the country joined in. There were street parties, parades, just the works, the works. Every kid in the country got a commemorative £2 coin. Don't know where mine went. Probably spent on gambling or cigarettes. Not by me. And also, we had a fancy dress parade where all the children dressed up in sort of fascist regalia. Not a fashion show, a sort of a fascist parade. Where all the children in the neighbourhood dressed up as patriotic people. And I was dressed up as Britannia, but I was called Rule Britannia, as the song Rule Britannia. So around we all walked, around and round the houses. God knows, loads of us, all dressed up in various nationalistic, patriotic guises and figures from history, and I was a Rule Britannia. I had my great-granddad's, I think it's my great-great-granddad's brass fireman's helmet, sort of Victorian brass fireman's helmet. It must have weighed more than a Labrador, and we all walked around the streets dressed like, these characters from British colonial history and beyond, as in my case, and I don't think it would be allowed now, to be honest. Anyway, rambling on, just thinking about it for the first time. So off we all went, and my mum made me a sort of Britannia robe with a huge long cape. And I mean, honestly, it must have been amazing. I won first prize, and all the kids sort of had to gather together and wait for the announcement, and all the parents were all there in the street and what have you, and they had some sort of dignitary come with the card and the prize. And when they called my name, they didn't call my name. They called out Rule Britannia's name. They called out, and the winner is Rule Britannia. And that was me. So I went to take a step forward, but some horrible boy called Richard was standing on my cloak, and I sort of half garroted. Half garroted myself on the neck chain. And I turn around and give him a massive mouthful. This is the first time I've thought about it in how many years? Since 1977. Oh my God. Oh, what a legend. And he lifted his horrible lumpy foot off the cloak, and I stepped forward and took the prize with great rage and indignation. Which only got worse when I opened it and I found out there was a £3 book token. Of absolutely no use, no interest to I. Fantastic. Oh my God, I just remember that now. Has been lying dormant, like some sort of secret power inside me for all these years. Oh God. Anyway. She's dead, he's dead. Now we've got a new Queen Charles and the King Camilla. So that's them. That's happening on Saturday. I shan't be getting dressed up. The helmet went to a museum, and all my cloaks are packed away for the winter. Oh, actually, oh my God, wait. I forgot, wait. I've had this in my purse for ages. I bought this. I just remember now. Fantastic. Yeah, it was something like this. This is a vintage cloak of cardamom. Oh, cardamom. Calm down. Cardigan chain. And is that Britannia on it? No, it's some sort of knight with a horse. and how much was that? 99p. Oh, how hilarious. So yeah, it was like that. It was something like this. Nearly took a very public exit, like one of Henry VIII's tragic missuses, garroted, beheaded. Anyway, I survived. Right then, so here we go. I haven't been out to the flea market or the charity shops very much this week, but I did do a bit of a smash and grab, a bit of a little ram raid last Friday, the day this video goes out, because I always, as I say, I always feel like it's my weekend on a Friday because I've worked up until that point, and I picked up all in one day some absolute treasures I got in a shop that I don't normally go to because bit surly, the staff. There's a consistent theme of surliness in that shop, so I can only assume that it's part of the management. Anyway, I was feeling brave. I was feeling quite cocky. I thought I'll brave it, and I'm glad I did, because I found this quite weighty. I think it's probably brass, but not the full quota of brass. I think it's probably mixed with something else. It's heavy. It's got lovely cut out metal work, and it sort of has that sort of Indian Afghan theme, and so I mean, listen, it is quite heavy. I thought that was lovely, and with it was this, which I think is one of a pair of Afghan style dancers cuffs, and I'm not sure if that's a carnelian in there, but those are plastic. That's not turquoise. I've had a look on Google Lens and all of that malarkey. Not a proper research, not in depth, but a lot of these are coming up quite similar, and they're normally in pairs, and I think it might be in part silver, but not 95. So I thought that was beautiful. That's nice. Not very Diana themed, but we'll get to that. The next shop that is consistently delightful, and everyone who works in there is absolutely joyous. I found some little boxes. I love my little trinket boxes. I don't know if you can see, but this is sort of applied. It's hand painted and applied. It was something like 50p, but isn't that nice? It's got velvety, silky lining, red. So I thought that was cute. I thought I might put something I treasure in there to protect it. And what else did I get? I also got in the same shop this vintage Corocraft box that was 20p. So I'll store my Corocraft vintage pieces in there. Let's get this. Oh, I'm going to show you inside. I don't think it's exciting. No, it's plain inside. It's a bit scuffed, but I quite like that. Genuine, authentic, aged patina. And last thing from that same shop, from the Joyous shop where I got the other two boxes, I got this little box. This is a vintage cardboard box, but it's got Wiccan, Wiccanish gallery, which I googled, and that looks fascinating. That looks like a First Nation or a Native Canadian, I beg your pardon, artist's gallery, I believe. I'll do more research into that because that looks interesting. And I put something that I bought in the next shop, the third shop, in here just to protect it, because I walked in and the people in there are also delightful, and they know that I like really strange, weird, odd pieces. Ideally, my perfect piece of jewellery would be something very cheap and nasty, bit tacky, big, vulgar, and from the 70s. Nothing like that. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Can you see the tiny little birds on the fence? They're two tiny, teeny little birds having a conversation with each other. And the girl in the shop said it looks like a scene from, is it The Lord of the Rings? I've never seen that film set, the film franchise, and I don't know anything about it. I've not read the book, nothing, I haven't got a clue. Couldn't even name a character, but it's absolutely darling, and it's tiny. It's hand painted stone, and I googled when I got home because I saw that there's a signature on it, DWE. There we are. And I don't know anything about them either, so bear with me 1 second. There we are, DWE. I can't find what that stands for on the internet. I don't know if that's a actual single artist or if it's a sort of a group of artists, you know, from a sort of, you know, collective. But isn't that the cutest little thing? Look at the tiny little moon. There are several online, and they range from about £70 to £130, depending on whether it's on eBay or Etsy. But I'm not selling it. I'm just going to keep it and dream about it and gaze at it, put it in my tiny knick-knack collection. From the sublime to the delightfully ridiculous, Mexican pig tile, made in Mexico. Pig, love it. That was £2. I think it's worth about £25. It's not for sale, it's for me. Next. Oh, back. So back to the first shop with the industrial scale surly people. And that day was no exception. But I didn't care because look what I found. Blingtastic. Shine on, you shinola. Isn't that amazing? It's almost patriotic, isn't it? Thank God it's not. It's red, white, and no, it's not white. It's sort of an off nicotine coloured yellow. So red, nicotine, and blue necklace. And it's absolutely dazzling. I don't know if you're getting it on the camera. And it's signed Colleen. There we go. Colleen. That's a kiss, that's an X. And that's Colleen Rooney, and she's a national treasure. She should be queen, in my opinion. We all love her. Colleen Rooney is a WAG. She's probably the most famous WAG, and WAG stands for Wives and Girlfriends of basically Premier League footballers. Some of them aren't particularly interesting. Colleen, however, is an exceptional quality person. She's an amazing woman, and she has her own fashion brand, and this she did as a collaboration with Littlewoods. And Littlewoods is a long-running company. It used to be like the sort of the only big online mail order company in the country. It used to be Littlewoods catalogue, and you know, people would pick their stuff like it was the Bible and pay for it week by week. And now it's not like that anymore. Obviously, it's just everything's changed. However, they do these amazing collaborations with top grade designers and artists and celebrities. Oh, fabulous. So that's not vintage. That was released about 10 years ago, and it was a hefty £50 when it was released. And that is not a mass-produced price. That is top end of the high street. I mean, if there was a step beyond top end of the high street, it would be on that step, sitting there very comfortably, thank you. So that was about 10 years ago. Definitely, in my opinion, a vintage collectible piece for the future, because I don't think she's still producing jewellery designs, certainly not for Littlewoods, not that I can see. So if it was a limited range and it's this good quality and it was that expensive in the first place, I reckon if you see the Colleen necklaces and they're, you know, in really good condition, snap them up, start collecting. So that was that, and that was what dragged me into the shop in the first place. In the same shop, on the same stand, was this. And Lord knows there's thousands, if not millions of these churned out of Chinese factories and put on Chinese fast fashion websites like There's No Tomorrow, which is slightly ironic because there probably will not be a tomorrow if we don't stop that. However, I think this is a vintage one actually, because the quality and the weight and the thickness of the metal, especially with that wear on the back, screams 90s to me. It doesn't look like that sort of thin, skinny, spindly plastic masquerading as metal that is just absolutely everywhere. So this, I believe, is a classic early 90s diamante belt choker necklace. And there's something about it that says Princess Diana to me. Do you think? Does that not say Diana to you? You know, when she started getting a little bit brave and a little bit cheeky and a little bit saucy with the fashion statements, just to make a point. So what you think? I think. Anyway, I might be completely wrong, but I bought that in the charity shop, and I think that was also... Oh, this was $2.99, and the Colleen one was $2.99. Looking good, Bunty. Put it all on, wear it all. Everything you've got, stay to high. I also got these on Tuesday. Not sure if they're vintage, but I bought them because I think these are cubic zirconia stones. But I bought them because there was a little bit of a mystery inside. It says Thailand, and it looks like it's a VB. And I thought, is that Victoria Beckham? Is there like a massive delivery of Wag jewellery into the charity shops this week? Has a Real Housewife of Cheshire jacked it all in and just given it all up? I don't know, but that's definitely a V with a swirl and a B. Victoria Beckham, Thailand. And they're quite good quality, so I don't know. Nice. Okay, so that's the end of everything I bought in the first half of this week from the thrift stores. However, it's not the end of everything I bought in the thrift stores. Bear with me. Stay with me. I might have caused a bit of a scene. I went to a shop that's in quite a wealthy suburban area. There's lots of old sort of middle class money in there, lots of retired people on, you know, good stonking pensions, play golf. I would put maybe not my house, but I'd certainly bet the fear on the fact that they vote Tory, but don't admit to it. You know the kind of place I mean. Very comfortable and conservative with big and little C. So I went in there, and I normally find some really good things, and it's always just like a one-off piece, or, you know, here and there every other week, or, you know, every other month or something like that. It's not a constant source of a vulgar tat that, you know, that I love, that fills my soul and my house. So many odd select pieces, and I was walking around, and there was absolutely nothing in the shop, which for me, I mean, the shop was full, and it was also full of people. And I thought, oh no, I can't find anything. I feel a little bit sad leaving empty-handed. I hate leaving a charity shop empty-handed. It's a hard push to, you know, not be able to find a thing, a tiny thing. So anyway, I looked in the last basket on the top shelf, just as, you know, it was getting to the till, to the counter, and I saw this, and I thought, oh my God, that's absolutely incredible. That's a little Diana hat, a little mini 1980s Diana style pillbox hat. It's on a band, so it's a fascinator, but that's absolutely classic Diana. Amazing. They're sort of like Princess Lady Di, maybe. So even before she married him, going to a wedding. I thought, oh God, I'm definitely going to get that, and I'm going to put it on hat model here. And I thought, brilliant, that will look fantastic. And then in the same basket, I saw this monstrosity, absolutely horrific. And I just became inspired. I was like sort of possessed by the spirit of Diana. And all of a sudden, I found myself with this situation going on in my hand. Diana, don't worry. I won't let them forget you. I'll keep your spirit alive. Queen of Hearts. Everybody in the shop completely ignored me. Absolutely not a titter, apart from one Irish woman who could not breathe for laughing. She knew what it meant. Oh, Di. Oh, love. I'm having a little bit of a Miss Havisham moment. It's a bit weird having vintage old wedding dresses and dead princesses' hats. Is that weird? Should I feel creeped? I feel a little bit creeped. But anyway, this is a vintage 1980s silk wedding dress inspired by the great big grand poof that she wore on the day of her wedding to her dad, not dad, to her fiance, Prince Charles, who is having his coronation this weekend, who will be King Charles, and his wife, Queen Camilla, will be there to support him. And naturally, I have a story about Charles and Camilla. It's all been leading up to this story. It hasn't. It's all been around that hat, to be honest. But I used to own a business in Borough Market in London. I had outlets in most of the markets in London, all the major ones. And, as we say, I am all for democracy. I do not believe in hereditary wealth or power. It makes no sense to me in this modern day and age. Just absolute no sense whatsoever that the luck of birth can, decide your entire future, and more importantly, unluck in most people's cases. So anyway, there I was grafting away in the market, and we knew that Charles and Camilla were going to do a walkabout in the market. It was quite a prestigious market. It was the biggest in Europe. It was really famous. It was kind of the height of fashion. And the word had got around that he was going to do a walk around, but he wasn't coming to our side. And obviously all the jokes were going on all day that, he's not coming to the common side, to the common end, where all the povos are. We went for we were doing all right, thank you very much. Through hard work and inspiration, nothing given to us by mummy and daddy. Anyway, don't start me off down that road. I'll get exiled. So we were all there working away. We didn't think for one second that he was coming to our side of the market. It was a huge place. And then halfway through the day on Saturday, which was our busiest day, it sort of got really quiet, and it was odd. And we'd seen all the security men and all the dogs and all the stuff doing all the checks, and I'd seen that before anyway because I worked on a show that had Margaret Thatcher on it, and that was an eye-opener. I'll save that story for another day. So anyway, yeah, middle of the day, Saturday, our heaviest trading day, all of a sudden there's not a soul to be seen. It's like a ghost town. And I thought, oh, that's just fantastic. They've blocked off the roads for his security, which means we're not going to earn anything today. He literally just shut down our business for a little walk around. Cheers, mate. Anyway, all of a sudden, we felt this sort of prickling heat coming towards us. There was myself and about 5 other people that were in this cage, all trading different businesses. And I looked over the way to my mate Sandra, who was on the deli counter. And she looked at me, and we both, our faces kind of just all of a sudden at the same time together went, they're coming this way. And it was the strangest feeling I've ever felt in my life. When you're English and you think about the royal family, they're sort of always there. They're like part of your family that rules you and, sort of tells you exactly what to do, but never sends a Christmas present that you like, or, never turns up to pick you up if you're stranded in the middle of nowhere or you've missed the last train. You know that you sort of should be able to rely on them to help you, but they never turn up and they never help you. They're just there. Anyway, they were there and they were coming towards us. And I was just standing in the most surreal environment where with like a pack of paparazzi and armed security guards and these 2 tiny little old people just kind of walked right past me in front of me. And I thought, hell's bells, that's Charles and Camilla. I mean, they're sort of legends in this country because you don't think about them, but they're always on your mind. They're just it's a very, very, very weird setup, this country. Anyway, I thought he just kind of scooped right past me. Tiny little old man just was zoop past me. And I sort of looked at him and I looked across at Sandra, and Sandra's face was just a gasp. And her eyes were like saucers. And I looked slightly past Sandra and towards my left, and Camilla was standing literally right in front of me, smiling with her hand out to shake my hand. And I sort of froze, and I just simply could not process that Camilla, as in Charles and Camilla, was standing in front of me at my stall in the market. So I put my hand out, and I was elevated, so I was about 2 foot taller than her. So I sort of stooped down as if I was the queen and shook her hand like she was a dirty commoner in the road, in the gutter. And she was just beaming and smiling at me, didn't say a single word. And then because she'd stopped and was holding my hand, he comes back and joins her. So I'm standing there aloft above Charles and Camilla, Prince Charles and Princess Camilla, in front of my herb stall, and he puts his hand out, so I shake his hand too. And I'm sort of gazing down upon them like commoners, and he says, oh, what have we got here then? In a really saucy voice. And I said, organic herbs and spices. And beside me, the paparazzi are going ballistic. It's like machine gun fire. He doesn't bat an eyelid. She doesn't bat an eyelid. I'm sort of paralyzed like a cat in headlights. And I say, oh, organic herbs and spices. And he goes, oh, I say, and winks. Prince Charles just winked at me, and then off they go. And it's that strange feeling where you think, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, not to be missed. I've got so much to say. I could say it so succinctly and so quickly and so powerfully, but I couldn't say a word. I was absolutely gobsmacked, paralysed, frozen to the spot. Couldn't think or speak. And it's that strange thing they do, that that sort of magic power that people talk about, where they sort of hypnotize you, where you don't speak. It was like that. I wish I knew how they did it, honestly. I would love to be able to have that power, just to stop people speaking where they stand. Anyway, I'm drying them out thinking about it. It was so strange. Everything about it was so odd. And then off they went. They just disappeared. And that was that moment. and Sandra and I were just left gazing at each other across our market stall. Thinking, did that really just happen? Anyway, Viva Diana. I'm with you, girl. I won't let them forget you. One thing I forgot about 80s court shoes was they used to have heels made of metal. Look at that metal pin. Not only was it absolute excruciating agony because you were basically just kind of clumping away down the concrete streets on steel pins. Do you remember how your knees used to feel at the end of the day? Also, they made that noise of cold steel on freezing concrete. Yeah, thank God those days are over. And I've moved into my Cartiers and my Cartier slippers. Oh, poor Diana. Anyway, I've got more Diana hats, so I'll just show you those before we finish. It's Begonia Coconut, by the way. She's been asleep there the whole time. Got this one. It's got like a leopard print effect on it. Bride's hat. This was £1.50. Love it. Oh God, I just love that style. At the time, when I was living in that style, I hated it. I just thought it was horrible. Now, obviously, with the passage of time, it's come around. I love it. That's that one. And of course, this one. Oops, hang on a second. Hang on. Caught on the net. There we are. Fabulous. Bit Maribou. This one is amazing. This is the proper pillbox shape, and it's got a wicked bow on the back. How much was that? £2. And this is, oh, its label's gone. But this is obviously quite a high quality hat. Oh yeah, I love it. Hang on, that's very undignified. Hang on, super cool. It's got a bit of Rod Stewart in the video I Am Sailing going on. Wicked, absolutely wicked. Okay, I might wear that just sitting around the house tonight. Okay. And finally, they got bigger, didn't they? They got sort of wider and shallower. I'm not convinced about this one. And this one is by Connor. This fashion accessory should not be worn in inclement weather. Oh. Speaking of, we're not going to get onto the garden. It's blowing a hoolie. It's freezing cold. Let's leave that for another day. I'm just going to sit here. I might have another cup of tea, maybe a Bakewell tart, and think about poor old Princess Diana. I was thinking about it this morning, actually, and what I was going to do in today's vlog. And I was walking down the road, coming back from dropping off a wombat brooch at the garage to send that off for a sale, and walked past the charity shop, which was near my house, and saw this in the window. I just thought, yeah, absolutely, totally. This will be Diana now, like Norma Desmond, haunting the Taj Mahal for eternity, singing, "It should have been me, it should have been me." Oh, yes, definitely, in a bejeweled turban. Queen of Hearts, forever. I don't even know if this is vintage or if it's new, to be honest. I mean, it's got a really 90s look about it with those jewels. And I did wash it. I bought it this morning and I washed it straight away, and it looks like 30 years of hanging around came out of it. So yeah, I can't find anything online that says it was, off Amazon. However, it screams Diana. I see I bought that this morning for my vision of what I think Diana looks like now, but really, I just dream about Begonia wearing it. Oh, fantastic. It's just made for her. There's not a chance. I can only but dream. She's there, sound asleep. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love your comments. Honestly, they mean the absolute world to me. And thanks for subscribing. It's completely free. If you haven't, please just the little subscribe button. I'm here every Friday with another feel-good load of nonsense. We're not going outside. It's absolutely freezing now, and it's thick, dark clouds. I think it's going to pour. But I'll tell you what else is spooky. Another spooky thing that happened. Do you remember that shrub, that conifer that should be a hardy evergreen that I bought at Christmas, called the Prince of Wales? It's dead. I know. There's no reason for it to have shriveled up and died, but it has. Maybe it's just a symbolic marking of the end of his era as the Prince of Wales. Now he's the Queen of all England town. Anyways, if you're having a party tomorrow to celebrate the coronation, have a fabulous time. Hope you stay dry. I am going to wear this all day tomorrow, and I think I might just kind of haunt the aisles of Tesco. See if I can upset some of the locals. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Please subscribe. It's free. Thanks. Ta-ta. Is that you, Diana? Is it you?